Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me first thank the gentlelady from the Virgin Islands who has demonstrated great leadership in leading these CBC special order hours. It is not an easy task, but has done remarkable work in terms of finding topics that are important to our communities and our nation. So I'd like to thank her. And, as she stated, Mr. Speaker, this month we mark 6 months of the Trump presidency and 6 months of Congressional Republican inaction. Republicans made promise after promise to the American people. The president called himself the ultimate deal maker. I wonder, are we witnessing the first Manchurian president? Instead of the promise of jobs, infrastructure, and a new and improved health care plan, we get chaos and seemingly never-ending controversies. Where is the Republican agenda? Where are their accomplishments? Where are all those wins? Let's take a look at the numbers. President Trump has a job approval rating of 36%, the lowest of any president ever at this point. Any president ever at this point in their presidency. And Republicans can point to 0 legislative accomplishments. He has no plan to lower health care costs, no jobs bills, no infrastructure bills, no tax reform, no clean budget. They simply are the facts. Instead of doing what's right for the American people, it appears that the Republicans are more occupied with taking away health care from millions of our constituents to give tax cuts to the wealthy, or defending the administration's most recent controversy. This week, we'll vote on a dishonest security spending package that will force American taxpayers to pay for the president's border wall. Who's going to pay for it? It looks like the American people now. But during his campaign and the rhetoric that we heard up until this point, Mexico was going to pay for the wall. Now here we are with our Republican colleagues supporting an effort that says that now the American people will pay for the wall. Well, we'll get the money from Mexico later. Yeah, all right. As a member of the Homeland Security Committee, I am alarmed by President Trump and the Congressional Republicans' determination to further break down our alliances and ignorance of matters related to security of this nation. Instead of funding the border walls, we should focus on building strong transportation and infrastructure systems that will create good-paying jobs and lay a foundation for a strong economy. Instead, we are weakening America. Let's build America with a strong infrastructure bill and adequate training and apprenticeship programs that will benefit our constituents. Let's make it in America is something that I heard last week, which sounds magnificent if we would do it. But if you're going to be the leader of this country and make such pronouncements, you have to live by what you're talking about. Make it in America wants to strive to make sure that we do everything in America. When we hear of 2 buildings that he erected in Chicago use Chinese steel or steel from outside the United States, if you look at his ties, his shirts, his suits, the soap in his hotels, nothing is made in America. Who are we trying to kid with this? Nothing. Maybe his daughter, well, no, her shoes aren't made in America. Her dresses aren't not made in America. Who are we kidding? Who are we fooling? The American people have to open their eyes and see the sham that is going on. It is an atrocity of how this president says one thing and does absolutely the opposite. Make it in America? He stood up there in front of the American people and said that? With the suit and the shirt and the ties that he had on? Absolutely, absolutely unconscionable. Where are the jobs? I'm going to be the best job creator you've ever seen. When? When? You're going to win so much, you're going to get tired of winning. When? The American people deserve better. The American people deserve better than a Congress that cares more about pushing an agenda that puts wealth care in front of health care. The American people deserve better than a Congress that will pass legislation that will harm our environment, contaminate our air, and pollute our waterways. The American people deserve better than a Congress that continues to ignore important issues that disproportionately affect African American communities, such as criminal justice reform, gun violence prevention, and voting rights. While this administration and congressional Republicans turn their backs on the American workers, we will continue to demand real action to create jobs, raise wages, and create a brighter future for American families. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield back to the gentlelady from the Virgin Islands.